Hey everyone, GamePark here, and today I thought we'd look at an interesting peripheral I recently came across, and that is this Game Heaven controller for the Dreamcast. Yes, you heard right. This is a controller made for the Sega Dreamcast that's shaped like an original PlayStation 1 controller. As you can tell, the button layout has the standard ABXY labels, but with the PlayStation button colors. You can also see it doesn't have the dual thumbsticks, so I believe this will only be compatible with games where you can control most of the movement with just the D-pad. So yeah, I wanted to make a video about this odd controller because aside from the one article I found on the Dreamcast Junkyard, which I'll put a link to in the description section, there is literally no other information on this device. The Dreamcast Junkyard did a great rundown covering it, and I was glad to read that they liked it, especially because of the better layout for fighting games. But there are no videos anywhere that I could find, at least. So why not make one myself? I figured we can do an unboxing of the controller and then test it out with an actual Dreamcast system just to see how it works. But yeah, with all that said, let's jump into it. So here we have the controller itself, the box. It's made by XG, a company named XG. I'm not too familiar with them, but it does say it's for the DC. I mean, there are a couple of differences compared to the original PlayStation 1 controller as well, such as the D-pad, not being like the cut-off for section one, but this might be better for like fighting games, as the Dreamcast Junkyard mentioned. And then this strange button layout, but whatever, I guess start, that's really the only button that the Dreamcast has. It doesn't have a select button. And then over here at the top we have the R1, L1, L2, R2, L2 buttons, but I think they stand for different face buttons aside from like the L1 and R1 buttons. So we'll see once we actually bring our Dreamcast over here, but we'll go ahead and open this one. I believe some of the tape over here is not even sticking anymore, so it should be easier to just kind of lift these plastic little tabs like this. I would like to keep the packaging in as nice condition as possible, because I don't know, you just don't come across these kind of peripherals every day. Does seem like new old stock to me, so we'll just slide this one out, and here we have, you see, the Dreamcast connector, but with a PlayStation style button layout. We'll take this little cardboard thing with the Game Heaven, and here we have our controller. So we'll just put this over here to the side. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, it's just like the standard PlayStation 1 controller. This has a clear plastic, which I'm a big fan of whenever I see clear plastics. And wow, yeah, actually it doesn't feel too bad. It actually feels quite good. Yeah, I mean, obviously the shape of it, the ergonomics are gonna be nice since they're based off the PS1. But I like that the buttons don't feel like super loose or shaky. Like, it's not too much shaking. A lot of these, third-party controllers, especially for older systems, man, they're built like junk for real. So the fact that this feels kind of a little more tighter, and it's not like completely super light to the point where it's like you can't even feel it. You should have a little bit of weight. Yeah, it's actually quite nice. Yeah, just to give a closer look, here we have the front, start, a bunch of turbo buttons for basically all the buttons. Then the top, it's the layout like this. I do wish they would have made a version with the thumbstick so that you can control, basically every action in whatever game you're playing. But it's all right. whatever. We have this, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for at least the controller. So why do we go ahead and bring over our TV, our Dreamcast, and we'll check out a couple games just to see how it feels playing with our game heaven for the Dreamcast. Let's do that. Alrighty, so I've gone ahead and brought out the Dreamcast and connected the controller to it. We got a couple of games here that I'm gonna try out. The first one here is Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes. So this is the first Marvel vs. Capcom game, and you know, you just want to see if everything works in terms of the button layout. And here we have our Dreamcast screen. You get a red LED right here on the front of the controller indicating that it's working. Let's go ahead and just skip all the date stuff, but yeah, in terms of, I mean, that seemed like it functioned just fine, just moving the D-pad and the buttons. Let me go ahead and move all this stuff over here just because you can see the system a little more so. But it is plugged in. It seems to be working just fine. So we're gonna go ahead and just skip the intro. Alright, we'll press A. Let's go ahead and just lower the volume a little bit. Alright, let's get into a match real quick, and I'm just going to be pressing all the buttons, and hopefully everything works just fine. So we have a kick here. That's working fine. Another kick, punch, Y. Yep, at least this one, the top button seems to be working just fine. And the top ones, yep, and we're gonna go ahead and start. Yep, everything seems to be working just fine. So, like the Dreamcast Junkyard mentioned, you know, this is definitely gonna be a much better pad if you want to play fighters. And I believe that most fighters should be, you know, controllable with a D-pad in terms of like the menus and those kinds of things. I don't know any fighting games that require you to use the joystick exclusively, but so in terms of that, we're good, you know. So the game heaven works just fine. Let's go ahead and, well, you know what we can do, a soft reset is pressing all the buttons at the same time, all the face buttons, and then pressing start, and I believe that should take us to our main menu. So that tells you right there that all 4 buttons are functioning just fine, along with the start button. We'll go ahead and open up our Dreamcast, put this back in its proper place. Let's try out a new game that I recently got, and that is Miss Pacman Maze Madness. So this one specifically says that, or has easy controls just like the original game, so no buttons are necessary, so you can just focus on the fun. So if it's, you know, featuring that, you know, you don't have to press any of the buttons, then hopefully the D-pad should work just fine. Oh, this is telling me that my HDMI is not going to be working out, so let me go ahead and swap it out real quick with an AV, because I do want to go ahead and test this one out. Alrighty, I've gone ahead and plugged in the original AV cables so we can test out our Miss Pacman Maze Madness here. We'll go ahead and skip all this stuff. The game, it seems to be working just fine. Press start button to continue without saving. Oh, I don't see that the LED is on here, so maybe I have to disconnect and plug it back in. There we go. That was a little weird. Okay, here we go. Miss Pacman. I'm controlling everything here with the D-pad. Let's go ahead and go to the options. So the buttons are working just fine. Basic stuff. Let's just start a new game. Here we're an intro. We're gonna go ahead and skip that. Let's get into a game. And I believe all you're doing is just like the original Pac-Man, is just moving the character around. So Miss Pac-Man here. Unless it's giving us a hub world. Okay. I am controlling. Alrighty. Continue into the stage and yep, there we go. You're just moving. You don't even need to press any of the buttons. What happens if we press any of the buttons? Oh, I guess there you can use it to zoom in. So if you stand still and you press the Y button, it'll zoom in, or you can press the X button to zoom out. So I guess there is some button functionality for this game, but everything's working just fine. You know, if it was dependent on using the Dreamcast thumbstick, I wouldn't even be able to move the character at all. So nice. Alrighty. So now we know this one works just fine. This is good with this controller. Let's go ahead and do our soft reset again. To go back into the system's main menu. Here we go. Take out our disc. Put it right back. And I thought the last game that we could check out is a racing game, Sega GT. So sometimes some racing games don't allow you to use D-pad. But hopefully Sega GT does. Of course, there's gonna be games that, you know, only use the thumbstick, as I mentioned before. Off the top of my head, I can think of maybe like Toy Commander, I believe is one game that might require, you know, like to use the thumbstick exclusively. But yeah, don't call me on it. So not every game will be compatible with the Game Heaven, but hopefully the majority of games should be. Let's see if Sega GT will work with this controller. We're gonna start a new game. So far I can control everything. I just like to go to the options just to see if the controller says anything, but key configuration, no. Let's just jump into the game and see if it works okay with the controller. Then I'll exit. I'll do a single race here. Easy class. Let's just get into it. Sure, I'm not too fussed right now. Let's see. Oops. Moment of truth. We're pressing our A button. Oh, you go with R1. Can we move our car? Yes, we can. Beautiful. Granted, the control here for this car feels a little loose, but that's not I don't think that's the fault of the controller itself. I think that's just like the actual car. But at least it's good to know that we can control the menus, the car itself. You know, I'm pressing R1 here, or just, you know, R for the Dreamcast, and it's working just fine. Moving my car. Awesome. So I am super satisfied with the Game Heaven for DC. Again, like the Dreamcast Junkyard mentioned, it's a good controller. Very good for several, you know, fighting games, more simpler games, like even like racing games. Like this feels really nice. Like I have a good sense of control with the Game Heaven. So yeah, I would highly recommend it if you ever come across one of these. It's a good one to pick up for the Dreamcast, depending on the game that you want to play. But yeah, I'll just go right back here to the main screen. If you watch this unboxing and, you know, little review of the Game Heaven for the Dreamcast. Thank you so much. Again, I do recommend it. It's a really nice controller. Feels good. It's gonna help you out a lot for specific games. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe. Let me know if you've ever come across a controller like this Game Heaven controller. I would love to know. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks again, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.